Good morning again. We are issuing another statement as a follow-up to yesterday's statement regarding the developments around IBC and the security related issues. And I'll read from here, and then Salim will make sure that you all get copies of this statement. Now, our position is this. NASA urges speedy acceptance of the US and UK offer to assist in investigating Chris Musando's killing. Amid the deafening silence of our Jubilee government leaders on the brutal murder of IBC's ICT manager Chris Musando, NASA and all Kenyans have been very pleased and relieved to see two of the country's major partners offer to assist in the investigations. The United States and the United Kingdom yesterday offered the assistance of their two elite investigating bodies, the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the New Scotland Yard, after the Director of Public Prosecution, Keriako Tobiko, directed a probe into the killing. We are most grateful for this offer of high-level assistance and urge the government to speedily accept this offer. We were also very pleased that the U.S. Ambassador, Robert Godek, Robert Godek and British High Commissioner Nick Haley explicitly pointed out yesterday that it is not possible to have a free, fair, credible and peaceful election unless the security of all senior IBC officials is assured. Even as we express our appreciation to our international partners for their solidarity with Kenyans' democratic aspirations, we want to express our horror that our own president Even as we express our appreciation to our international partners for their solidarity with Kenyans' democratic aspirations, we want to express our horror that our own President Uhuru Kenyatta, Deputy President William Ruto, or the Attorney General, Githu Muigai, have not uttered a word of condemnation of this heinous crime. This murder has jeopardized Kenyans' faith in the credibility of the electoral process, and yet it seems that even this is not moving these leaders to speak up. I think it is fair to say that unless dramatic steps are taken, Kenyans will not be sure that this will be a free and fair election without having at the helm Chris Musando, who was totally committed to ensuring that the Kenya Integrated Electoral Management System was protected from interference and would work on election day. We therefore suggest that to restore the shaken confidence in the electronic systems that are key to the credibility and success of the election, the IBC should immediately secure the services of an internationally recognized expert in the area to supervise the KEMS system. With the reported intimidation of IBC officials that's been reported, Kenyans will be unable to believe that whoever takes the late Musando's place will perform the job with the integrity that Musando brought. It is vital that urgent steps needed to ensure an effective investigation, such as securing the crime scene, are immediately put into place. But Kenyans have little faith in our Directorate of Criminal Investigation's resolve to identify, pursue, and bring the killers to book, as well as those who directed them to justice. Kenya's recent history is replete with too many unresolved probes into politically motivated killings. In addition to speedily accepting the American and British offer, we urge President Uhuru Kenyatta to commit himself publicly to the right of Kenyans to freely elect the leaders they wish to lead them into a much better future. That can only happen through the holding of an honest election. President Kenyatta should throw the full weight of his office behind the speediest possible and credible investigation. Our election and democracy itself have been terribly undermined by the murder of Chris Musando. No Kenyan can feel secure when such a hugely consequential killing can be so brazenly carried out. As I indicated yesterday, Kenyans can rest assured that the security and protection of every single Kenyan, as well as their property, will be guaranteed by a NASA government. Thank you. Questions?
My name is Kennedy Mary from NTV, and you've gotten in the aspect of getting an international expert. Do you have maybe a preference from what country? I'm asking this because we have been there before that you have been having problems with experts from people from certain countries. Do you have a preference with where this expert should be coming?
I think in a situation like this, the Commonwealth can provide a very good service. The UN can also provide very good support in such an area.
And what will probably be their work with regards to this assignment that you propose?
I think what is important here is that Kenyans would like to be assured that that process, the electronic systems have not been tampered with, they will not be tampered with, they will not be interfered with, so that there is somebody alongside the people who are there to ensure that that system has not been compromised in whatever way by the demise of Musando. It is very important for confidence building. Hayo bado hajatufikia, kwa hivyo hatuwezi tukazungumzia yale, lakini kama kuna mwingine pia ametoweka, basi haya ndio malalamishi tunasema hatutaki yaendelee. Hatujapata habari kwa huyu mwingine ambao unazungumzia. I think what is important is that if indeed there's nothing to hide and the IEBC wants to restore some level of credibility in this process, they should not try and operate a closed door system in this scenario. And here we are saying that having a situation where an international expert within the framework of the Commonwealth or the UN being there to stand by and also see what is happening so that they can assure Kenyans that there has been no interference would be very, very important. What we want at the end of the day is an election that will receive acceptance by the Kenyan people and in the international community.
Probably what form of interference do you think might have been there with the deaths of Chris Musando, with the man?
I think that would be speculation. But if my colleague here was just to speak to the issues that came up during the Supreme Court ruling when they filed a petition, I think he can give you an indicator, and perhaps that might be very useful, of the potential threat if such a system is interfered with. Yeah.
What I can say is that, remember when Senator Mudama and I were in this parliamentary committee, there was a big debate about whether we go manual or we go electronic. And what won the day was that the Kenyan electoral system should be an electronic system consisting of 3 components which you are aware about. And therefore, any attempt to interfere with the basic system, which is electronic, would compromise the entire election. There has been word there from the Carter Center in the United States saying that if these systems don't work, then in their view, the electoral system will be totally compromised. And what we are fighting about is a tough war that has been going on within the IEBC, who can have access or information to the system, have the password. And to that extent, if in any way the death of Chris Musando had a bearing on his being forced to give information as to certain aspects of the system that should not be compromised or can only be, be unraveled during or on election day, then this is a matter that we need to go into fully. But the potential for hacking into the system, potential that somebody has had access to the system, that would compromise the entire election, whether from the aspects of transmission, whether from the aspect of identification of voters, or even with the register. Up to now, actually, there's no authentic register, electronic register, which the IBC has given out there. So on all 3 components of the electoral process, electronic process, there's a great fear that this may be compromised. And if my leader here can allow me, it is becoming a trend with the police to give information to certain circles, political circles within the country, on a matter which is still under investigation, when it is still very raw. I remember when one of your own, Mr. Menya, a journalist, was arrested at CID headquarters. The police themselves were sending pictures out to elements within the Jubilee leadership, which were then put on the social media. Now, again, to my shock, in relation to the death of Chris Musando, pictures from the crime scene or what was potentially a crime scene, where the vehicle was found and where the bodies were found. All this now is already in the public domain, and therefore there's a potential that these crime scenes have been contaminated, no doubt, to destroy any investigations which would go towards establishing the motive of the murder, if it was anything to do with trying to get the password from Chris Musando. I remember when I was doing the Uko case and the Julie Ward case, there was contamination of the crime scenes. And whether you bring the FBI or the Scotland Yard, if a scene has been contaminated, it is very difficult then subsequently to deal with it. And my appeal would be, if, as my leader has said, FBI comes or Scotland Yard comes, they should go, fully into the investigations without interference, because we saw that in the Dr. Uko murder investigations, when Scotland Yard was right in the middle of the investigations, they were sent away. Thank you. Sorry.